So the scriptural translation used, I did not touch the scriptural translations at all in here. This is the Douay Rheims. I'm not qualified to touch that. So it's the Douay Rheims Bible, which means it's going to have a whole lot of language that is no longer in use today. Much more opaque language, just like the these and the thys and
Oh,
dost and
sure.
hast, which it makes sense if you know how English works in the older context. But if, for instance, for a child, it would be too difficult for most,
Yeah.
I think. I would recommend, honestly, with the readings from here, that it would be good for a high schooler and older. That a high schooler is perfectly capable of reading the Douay, and if they apply themselves to it, and thus in reading the Church Fathers. Now, the Church Fathers are a bit harder than the Bible, so
Right.
with some difficulty, but the lives of the saints, I think, would make it worth it for a high schooler. So even if you don't think they're ready for all the readings, the lives of the saints would certainly be a compelling reason to use this to say like a confirmation gift, for instance. And then as they get older and more mature, then they'll grow to appreciate the rest. And that's the beauty of it too. It's a yearly cycle. It's the same thing every year. So if you have it from an earlier age, you keep doing it every year, you'll get more and more out of it as you go.
Right. Absolutely. Because yeah, like people were like, well, I was kind of listening and reading the Bible at 12. It's like, okay, well, your brain's not fully adapted yet. Where, yeah, if you're 16, 17, 18, and really grasping what it's saying, then yeah, I like what you said with a confirmation gift. Thinking more outside the box because a lot of people's, I mean, you might get a crucifix or something for a first communion and that, but yeah, get him or her something that will benefit for the rest of their life. And like you said, it's a hardcover. It's made to last, and you pretty much put it in your coat pocket and take it with you on the go. Even if you're visiting family in different states, you can take it with you. So, Samuel, with all that being said, is there any last thing you want to talk about the book? Share with the artists about your book? Anything else?
Hmm. I guess it's about the differences in calendar, because that's the one thing that
Oh,
could really
sure.
throw someone if they're getting into this, if they're not going to Latin Mass regularly, they're not used to the older calendar way of looking at things. It could be a bit confusing. So
Okay.
um, instead of ordinary time, it's going to be time after Epiphany, some stuff after Christmas, or time after Pentecost. Um, and the way that's counted is it's a little bit differently. So it's going to be in some years, it'll be the same number every week. In other years, it'll be a different number every week between the new mass and the old mass. So, one tip I'd recommend for someone getting into this for the first time, when do I start this if I get this? I would recommend starting at the beginning of a liturgical season.